It looks like we're live, finally. Hello again. This time I will do a bit of a shorter and a bit of a different stream. We'll be talking about certificates. Certificates used for your services and servers. Use for safety and privacy. They can expire. If you didn't already know it, now you know. They can expire. What are the causes? What are the potential effects? And what are the different types of remedies one can take when it comes to handling expiring certificates? Okay, so let's jump into the agenda. I will start off with going to this one, jumping over there, and starting this one. Yay! Soon it will work, I hope. Yeah, here's our agenda. The causes, the effects, and the potential remedies. So, starting off with the causes. All certificates that is used for HTTPS and SSL connections and all of that are limited in time. Basically, that's how they were designed for security reasons. There are different types of certificates and they have different type of lifetimes. And when you create them, at least some of them, you can customize the lifetime. So you can set up a 1-day certificate, or maybe 3 months, or 6 months, or 3-year certificate. It varies depending on how it is supposed to be used. But the essence to take away here. Certificates affect your service security. Certificates have limited lifetime, not time lives, and they do expire. So, what could be the potential effects? Now, this depends quite a lot depending on what you use it for, but as a rule of thumb, if you use it for HTTPS, you can lose your secure connection. That could be with an actual front end, it could be towards a database, it could be internally in your system, or between different parts of everything. So, loss of secure connections. For those certificates that has to do with the front end, you will start to get browser warnings when someone tries to browse your service front end. So browser warnings will pop up whenever this happens. And some browsers will also refuse to load your page. Now, this is because there is a risk of data breach when this happens. Some connections will default from HTTPS to HTTP, and then everything is out in the open suddenly, and anyone can listen in to what you're saying. But the worst part, I think, is that you will actually start losing your customer trust. And this is not good. It affects your reputation as service provider negatively. Not good. Especially when it comes to renewing your subscriptions, or your subscriptions, your customers' subscriptions. You might start losing money if this happens. Not a good future. Now, this depends a bit about what you are in for market, but there are some that have compliance requirements or regulatory requirements on this. So you might run into some regulatory non-compliance if this happens, and you don't want that. And then, of course, downtime and service disruption. Another big, actually, a big effect that I was thinking about was the impact on search engine optimization. You might lose your ranking if you lose your security. Not good. Not good if you're trying to sell. So let's move on from the effects to some classes of remedies. And the first class I can think of is no fix at all. We don't care. We know that this might be a problem later on, but maybe we're doing something really fast, really cheap, really just testing out and doing prototypes. So MVPs, prototypes, that kind of stuff. We might just don't care. The plus side for this is it's fast and it's easy. We can test out market needs before we really get into stuff. But on the minus side here, we need to recover if this MVP turns out to be a production-ready thing that you actually have an audience for. Then you have to recover and take control over the certificates that are used for the solution. This leaves us to the next category, the next class of remedies, and that is the knowledge class. This is when you know about all your certificates and you know when to renew them. This is range from your typical MVP and all the way up to smaller production systems without regulation or regulatory requirements. The good thing about this one is that it's documented. You can have an overview of it. You can check when it's time to do something, and sometimes it's good to know. The minus side of these is that everything is handled manually. Both the operation of these tasks, if you renew a certificate, you also have to put this information inside your tool. And also discovery is manual, so you could forget about entering one here. Could happen. But that is the second class, the knowledge class. The third one is automated renewal, and now we're moving into the territory where we have software either run by you or run as a service somewhere. So automated renewals, on the plus side, there's no worries. All your certificates will be renewed before they expire. But the first generation of these are also manual discovery of certificates. So you could actually miss one or two when you set this up. Which leads us to the last class of remedies here, and that is the automated renewal and automated discovery. And the big plus here, it is finding all your certificates and it is renewing them for you. So no worries on the plus side. On the minus side, though, these solutions are quite complex and quite expensive, so these classes also have an increased cost associated with them, and the automated renewal and discovery is the most expensive. Now, it's time for a tiny self-promotion here. From the knowledge remedy class, I have a solution available. It's called Certiege, not a hotel concierge, but a certificate Certiege. It belongs to the remedy class knowledge. It is in fact a Notion template. And you can buy it, or at least check it out, on Gumroad. It provides time to expiry, and it also gives you notifications before they expire, so you don't have to check this table every day. There's also time to put renewal instructions here, so you can have everything about your certificates in one place in Notion. Let me know in a DM if you are more interested to discuss this one. Otherwise, I advise you who are interested to check it out on Gumroad. Look for Certiege. Okay. So, that was, in essence, a very small live I was doing for today. I will get back more into this with handling or managing your certificates, where they are, how they should be, and so on. And if you have any questions, do make a comment below. I will be looking at these, and I'll be back with something more later on. I'm just quickly checking if there are any comments. Not at the moment. So I will be checking the comments to this video. I hope you find it interesting. I will see you in the next one.